coming up next, it's the UFC Women's Bantamweight Division matchup. All right, almost ready to go with this one. Here is tonight's tale of the tape. So a more than 5-year gap between these two fighters when it comes to the age, with similar height and some differences in reach. To get us started with the official introductions, we go inside to the veteran voice of the Octagon. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC Bantamweight Division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing at 110 pounds. Fighting out of Lisbon, Portugal, Assassin. And now introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a grappler. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 135 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Misha Cupcake Tate. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Eve Loving.
The veteran Eve Levine draws the assignment here.
You ready? You ready?
Dateline, Las Vegas, Nevada. We are underway here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Tate gets hit by that kick to the body. Nice. Continues to mix it up, going to the head, mixing in some body shots.
When a southpaw fighter is facing the orthodox fighter, it opens up the back left kick for the southpaw fighter, which lands on the liver. It's a very vulnerable area and a huge... Oh! This could be it right here. Oh! Vicious combination.
Lands a full left there. Oh, straight right.
Oh! Back up. This could be it. Oh, very nice.
Good jab.
Big punches. What a wild exchange. Hard jab. Oh, what a combination. Big punches here. Oh!
Slightly deflected. Tate gets hit with a kick. That one appeared to land flush. Oh, she works the body as well as anybody in this division. Another strike there, and these shots are really going to take their toll as this fight moves on. How about that shin? How about the slam there? That one cannot feel good.
Tries to pass, but cannot. Hits the reversal and right into north-south. Or catch a dart. Look at this. Locks it into position. She escaped the choke.
So 3 minutes off the clock in our first round.
Both hooks in. She establishes full mount.
Oh, she landed that punch, Joe. Well, she's up, but she looks hurt.
Oh!
Oh, you know about her kick. She's got him going tonight. She blocked that offense, Joe. Well, she got her head snapped back with that jab, Joe, and she continued to show a... Oh!
She's stacking her now.
Under a minute to go. Goes back to that left kick once again.
Beautiful jab. Oh! This could be it right here.
Oh! Oh!
And she's down. That's it. She's out. Oh, wow. What a knockout. Landed a big kick for the knockout.
Absolutely, Joe, a tremendous kick, and when her career is said and done, this might be the highlight that everybody is talking about as she ends her opponent's night with as many style points as you could want. She catches her flush, full force, full extension. You gotta think she's getting a performance bonus for that one.
Let's take a look at it from another angle here. This is the one that causes the knockdown and the subsequent follow-up strikes for the knockout. Check out this angle here. Bam! Out cold.
Well, there she is. Man, did she have it going here tonight as she gets the huge win by knockout. Near perfect. We set it inside the octagon for the official decision. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Eve Levine called stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 38 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by...
So I could not be more proud of El Paso than I am right now. Remind me to show you what this woman Alma made for me today when she saw us here. Rose will give it to me. Just remind me at the end of the interview. But first, so you say we have to be better. We have to see the bonds of love and those that connect us. But you don't think the president should come here. Why?
I was just talking to somebody, listening to a woman who came up and said hello to me, and she said, "Why is he coming here when he hates us?" She's reflecting the fact that he described the town of Mexican immigrants, terrorists, and criminals. Repeatedly has warned of an invasion, trying to make us afraid of those who do not look like the majority of this country. He's described human beings as an infestation, which you or I might describe cockroaches or termites, but not human beings. And you only get kids in cages. You only separate them from their parents. You only lose the lives of 7 children in our custody in this last year when they're at their most desperate and vulnerable. You only have an attack like this when you have a president who gives people permission to act on this hatred and this racism and this intolerance. And so we must connect those dots. And if we fail to do that, we are then complicit in the violence that we will continue to see across America.
I take the argument here. The challenge is that the easy fix here is what this man did. Terrorism under the law. Give our prosecutors and investigators the resources like they have against ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Root out where they meet and talk and plan and punish them the same way. How do you think you're going to get that done if you keep it they're over here and we're over here, even on this issue?
I think you connect everyone and everything that's happened over the course of this administration. Not just a rise in hate crimes, every single one of the last 3 years, but the mosque in Victoria, Texas, burned to the ground on the day that President Trump signed his executive order seeking to ban Muslim travel, or the Tree of Life synagogue shooting, where the killer talked about the caravans that the president was warning us about, trying to make us afraid about, the U.S. service members that he deployed here to this community, one of the safest places in the United States of America. That kind of fear that he ginned up, that hatred, was an invitation to violence, and it did not just affect El Paso or Pittsburgh or Gilroy or Victoria. It is happening all over this country. That's how we bring everyone in. Republican, Democrat, independent, rural community, big city alike. All Americans are equal.
Respond to what the president said today and what was his effort to unify and move past the us versus them. Take a listen.
The shooter in El Paso posted a manifesto online.
Coming up next, we get to this UFC middleweight division fight. Our tale of the tape for this much-anticipated middleweight encounter. More than a decade separates these two fighters when it comes to the age, with some differences in height and a similar reach. To get us started, here is Bruce Buffer.
Now, I've heard
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing
white supremacy.
fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. He stands 16 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Malmo, Sweden, Black Hawk. Ready to fight? Ready.
All right, ready to go here with live action from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Opens with the left hand and lands flat. Oh!
Nice jab. Oh, look at this. Who saw that coming?
Oh, he lands a huge kick to the body.
Oh! You heard him attack him. He's in big trouble here.
Wow.
Hooked him again. He's hurt. He's hurt.
Fucking hooks, huh, bitch? Is that what you gonna throw? You gonna throw my hooks, huh, bitch? Yeah, you fucking punk, nigga. You just gonna throw hooks, huh?
He's stacking him again. Excellent movement and transitions here on the ground. Staying busy. Hip escape, nice hip escape. Oh, he got tagged with the right hand there. He's got him stacked here. He's got to be careful as he has him stacked here, though. He doesn't get trapped into a triangle.
Oh, head kick attempt. It is blocked by St. Pierre. While he's playing with fire here, Joe, he continues to be vulnerable to that jab by almost leaning into it right into his opponent's range. Gotta find a way to move those feet and ultimately get that head off of the center line. Well, it's one thing to have length, it's another thing to use it, and he does it as well as anyone. Nice kick there by George St. Pierre. Kick lands for him there.
Good defense there.
Under 2 minutes to go.
He's doing a great job blocking these shots.
Oh, he blocked that offense, Joe. Switching stances here. Oh,
Nice
big
knee.
knee. Man has his chin been tested
He
early.
tags him again. He's hurt.
Fuck out of here, you fat boy.
And just like that,
Fuck,
the fight is
faggot,
over.
get out of here. Fuck out of here, punk. Quitting, bitch. Fag boy. Quitting, fuck boy.
Important for you then to say that this is the same man who called white nationalists and Klansmen and neo-Nazis very fine people, who asked for more immigrants who look like those in Sweden and Norway, the whitest places on the planet, while describing immigrants from Haiti as full of AIDS or countries in Africa as shithole nations. This is the most racist president we've had since perhaps Andrew Johnson in another age and another century. And he is responsible for the hatred and the violence that we're seeing right now. You cannot leave that just to me to say that. It's got to be you and those who are helping this country understand what is happening in our name. Connect those dots and actions that can seem unconnected or random or just strange. That they're not. They're all of a pattern, and they all follow what this president has said from that maiden speech when he ran for the highest office in the land, describing the people of this community as rapists and criminals, talking about people as though they are animals or subhuman. This necessarily results. You saw that manifesto. The words that he was using were many of the same words that the president has been using. We cannot allow him to get off scot-free just because he gave a speech here today. We cannot let him get off without any complicity or justice or accountability, given what he has done and made possible here. There has to be justice at the end of the day.
There will be an election. And in the meantime, between now and then, and maybe after, how do you make these people safer? How do you get to some place that the majority of the country already is, which is all hate should be treated the same way, all gun sales should be checked the same way? How do you get these simple things done if both sides are standing behind walls of righteous indignation?
I don't know about both sides on this one. As I travel the country,
No, I don't mean it as an equivalency. I'm saying that you are opposed to what he is about, and he has his supporters around him who feel that they must defend him to keep their access to power.
yeah, I don't know. As I listen to people in this country, they know that we are owed something far better than this. This division, this hatred, this intolerance, this racism does not reflect El Paso, Texas. It does not reflect the United States of America. This community, you see an average of 18 murders a year. One of the safest places in America today. It took someone from outside of this community who was willing to drive hundreds of miles to bring this kind of hatred here. We have to show that that is the exception.
All right, coming up next, it's a UFC middleweight division fight.
Counted on this.
Our tale of the tape for this middleweight fight. Silva is 17 years his senior. The
Doesn't matter. Or who talk about white nationalist terrorism, do not link it to the president.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Dateline Las Vegas, Nevada. We are underway here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Beautiful kick there. Nice defense there. Huge block.
That one hurt. Welcome to the jungle.
Going to the head kick here is there. Both guys landing with conviction now.
Oh, very nice. That is a hard kick. Oh, another body kick.
Tag it, get out.
Beautiful knockout here early in the first.
Get out of here, big
Yeah, Joe,
baby
that
man.
was the perfect shot right there. We didn't even get a feeling out process here tonight, and we say it all the time. Sometimes when you catch a guy cold
Get out of here with
before
this
he's
shit.
had a chance to get going in the fight, it can have a bigger effect. It certainly had a huge impact here tonight as he gets the win by first round KO.
Check it out again.
Boom. And there he is, all smiles. What a huge knockout he turned in here tonight. That is one they'll be talking about for some time. And here once more, Bruce
Ladies and
Buffer.
gentlemen, referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest.
In my hometown, in this community, they are then part of the problem, and it's their constituents. I mentioned elections earlier, who must hold them accountable. And I hear that loud and clear here in El Paso. I feel that from So this is what I want to talk about. This woman, Alma, she goes by Skosh. It's a long story to the nickname. But she took this rock, which is from El Paso, which is over there. She says, these aren't about walls. This is about what makes us up as the foundation of us. She painted the Virgin Mother on it. She did it herself this morning and said, I give you this because I want you to hold it close to your heart because it's heavy like our hearts are heavy. But it also shows that we believe in something better. That to me is El Paso.
Pure El Paso, beautiful. Yeah, and we are so glad that you're here transmitting the story of this community. This shooting, these murders, this terrorism will not define us. The way in which we overcome this, our strength, our ability to come together despite, what I would say, because of our differences, that's what makes us so special. I think that's what makes us the example that the rest of the country needs right now. This is very much El Paso.
People have been great here. They want leadership. They want better. We'll see what happens. Beto, thank you for giving voice to the frustrations. Appreciate it. Beto O'Rourke is here. You can hold the rock, but you can't have it. It means too much to me.
Listen up, the soap you shower with, you probably haven't even questioned what bars. Let's face it, most guys don't. They're still using whatever bar their mom.
Joining us now from El Paso, member of the House Judiciary Committee, Democratic Assistant Whip, Congresswoman Veronica Escobar of Texas. Her district includes the Walmart, where Saturday's events.
All right, coming up next, it's a UFC middleweight division fight. Our tale of the tape for this much-anticipated middleweight encounter. So more than 10 years apart, these two fighters, with some differences in height and a similar reach. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting!
Here we go.
Really missed with that right hand.
And he lands a nice kick.
Good shot.
Oh, spinning back fist. He didn't telegraph that one at all. Well, he's up. but he is hurting for certain. The finish could come at any time. Sound technique on that kick, Joe. So both guys landing at will here. Good action early.
All right, knee. Oh, he's hurt bad.
He goes in and secures the takedown.
Gets in a full guard here. Excellent movement on the ground here. Constantly moving, constantly staying busy. He's doing a great job of moving and transitioning here on the ground. Back to half guard. Now he flips him over in the side control. He's got his back here. Look at this. This looks tight. It looks like he's got it locked in. He's out.
We cross the midpoint of round one.
Looking for a triangle. Throws one leg over the shoulder. He went from the triangle to the armbar. Beautiful. And he's free. That was a deep armbar. Inside control here. He postures into place. He's got to be real careful about how he engages.
Thank you for the submission, buddy. Thank you.
Just over 2 minutes to go.
Thank you. What the fuck is
That was
going on?
a deep armbar, but a beautiful escape. Inside control.
What is going on around here?
Oh, he gets reversed.
And busy as he looks to improve position here.
He takes the back, and he moves into the mount.
All right, you're done now.
Oh, he's got a lot of different arm bars he can go to, attacking here.
It's very close here. Break the grip,
Oh, I can't
and he
believe
gets
I'm
it
letting
out
you
of
get
it.
out.
Deep armbar, beautiful escape.
I can't believe I'm letting you get out, buddy.
45 seconds remain in the round.
Oh, he went for a
You're
flying
getting it right here,
armbar.
buddy.
I think this is it.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Round was almost over.
Now we go inside the octagon. Bruce.
Stranger, we take care of the vulnerable, and that is I'm so proud to be a member of this community. Words have consequences, and the president, my community, and my people, the enemy. He has told the country that we are people to be feared, people to be hated. He has done that at his rallies. He has done that through his Twitter. I heard earlier someone mention that he may be coming here. I hope that he has the self-awareness to understand that we are in pain and we are mourning and we are doing our very best in our typical, beautiful, graceful El Paso way to continue to be resilient. And so I would ask his staff and his team to consider the fact that his words and his actions have played a role in this.
Congresswoman, all across America, parents and their little children are going to Walmarts and going to other local places to get supplies to go back to school. It's a rite of passage that we've all done, that we all do, except in your district this weekend, little children and their mothers and their family members were gunned down and killed because a white nationalist was inspired by the language of politicians and some of the things that he saw on TV and some of the things that he saw online. Obviously, we've shown clips of the President of the United States laughing when he's talking about the invasion of Hispanics, and somebody in the crowd says, "Shoot them," and he laughs and makes a joke about it, and the whole crowd starts laughing time and time again. If you could, tell me about some of your constituents. Tell me about some of the people in your district who were shot and killed simply because they went out to get school supplies to go back to school in a few weeks, and unfortunately found themselves in the crossfire, inspired by political hate.
Joe, there were some incredible acts of heroism. Among those, a young mother and a young father who used their bodies as a shield to protect their infant child. Both of those beautiful lives are gone. The infant is alive, but is now an orphan. There were kids who were having a fundraiser for their soccer team outside of the Walmart, raising money for their team with their parents and their teammates and their coach.
All right, coming up next, it's a UFC middleweight division fight. Our tale of the tape for this middleweight fight. So more than 10 years apart, these two fighters, with the same height and reach. All right, now with the official introductions, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. He stands 63 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Mama, Sweden, Black Mama.
People were being shuffled to safety. Her husband didn't make it, and she has to live
And now
with
his opponent,
guilt.
fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. He stands 63 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, the Great.
This is one
And
of
with
the
the action most begins, the referee in charge,
American history.
The veteran Eve Levine draws the assignment here.
As such, we will not have the turning point that we so desperately need as a country.
Dateline London, England, good to have you with us as always as we get underway with live action from the O2 Arena.
Nice kick right there.
And he connects with the punch.
Caught him with a punch. That one hurt. Good defense there. Oh, big kick. He hurt him with that hook. Wow. He is really finding a home for those body kicks.
Yes, Joe, I would agree with you there.
Oh, to the head. He's stunned. He's got him hurt here. Oh, he nails him. Oh, flying knee. Excellent movement on the ground here, always trying to better his position. It appears he's going to attack with a submission. Yep, here he goes. He's got that reverse triangle locked up tight. He got free of the choke. He's doing a great job of moving and transitioning here on the ground. Right hand forward now, switching to southpaw.
Lets it go. How about that shin?
Oh, we heard him again. Body kick, look at that. He's got him hurt here.
Significant responsibility to show this country, to lead this country into healing. And now is the time, and he needs to accept responsibility. Everyone does, for what has gotten us to this point.
So, since the president said, tried to blame his hatred on the quote fake news, why don't we just take him at his own word?
Guy's such a piece of shit. We have got the biggest piece of shit president in the fucking history of the world. And they voted him in 2016 or whatever it is. Ridiculous.
clip where he laughs when somebody says that Hispanics should be shot.
This is an invasion. When you see these caravans starting out with 20,000 people, that's an invasion. I was badly criticized for using the word invasion. It's an invasion. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that stuff. Only in the panhandle. So it's a tough situation.
Again, like Walter said, I see a lot of white people laughing when somebody says Hispanics should be shot. I see two young African-American girls looking confused and looking at their parents. But again, just in case the president thinks that's fake news, let's look at this clip again. This is Donald Trump talking about an invasion. And I do want to say again, you can look at Donald Trump's own government statistics. Illegal border crossings, when Donald Trump became president of the United States, we're at a 50-year low. Illegal border crossings have exploded exponentially since Donald Trump became president of the United States and whipped up this crisis. But the president says it's fake news. What? When we quote his own words, here's the president of the United States whipping up hatred and frenzy, talking about invasions that when he was president of the United States didn't exist. They were at 50-year lows. Lowest point since I was like 5 years old. And here's Donald Trump saying invasion time and again to whip the crowd into a frenzy and then say, what can we do? And somebody says, shoot them. And the president laughs and then gets a huge applause. Let's play this clip again and you decide whether you think it's fake news or not.
When you see these caravans starting out with 20,000 people, that's an invasion. I was badly criticized for using the word invasion. It's an invasion. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that stuff. Only in the panhandle. So it's a tough situation.
The president is laughing because
It's funny.
everybody in the crowd thinks it's funny that they're talking about shooting Hispanics. Play it again, Alex.
This is an invasion. When you see these caravans starting out with 20,000 people, that's an invasion. I was badly criticized for using the word invasion. It's an invasion. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that stuff. Only in the panhandle. So it's a tough situation.
Congresswoman, is it fake news that the president of the United States, we played the clip 3 times, is sitting there talking about invasions of Hispanics and then leading the crowd in a big roar and laugh and applause when somebody says, shoot Hispanics?
Joe, when I first saw that clip, right after the rally, I have to tell you, it was very painful to hear. It's actually even more painful to listen to now. I worried about what was going to happen in our country. I have to again say that in El Paso, we have chosen to look at hate and return that with love. And we are going to keep doing that. We are going to continue to be a kind, generous, loving community, a unified community, a strong, resilient community. All of the people who rushed to the assistance of those who were gunned down, those who were injured, they are incredible, incredible heroes. And every single one of the families that has been touched by this horrific tragedy, they are going to need a lot of support. a lot of goodwill. That's what we are going to focus on in El Paso. That is going to be our mission, to make sure that everyone gets all the help and support that they need, the comfort that they need. We are going to continue to emulate goodness and charity and love, regardless of what has been wrought upon us.
Victoria, this is Eddie Glaude here. I want to ask you to dive a bit deeper into something you mentioned earlier as a kind of broader context. You talk about these demographic shifts. We tend to focus on Donald Trump, and we're right to do so in terms of his rhetoric and the like. But there seems to be a deeper crisis here with regards to how we think of the country, how we think about ourselves. Could you talk a little bit about what some scholars will describe as a crisis in whiteness that's being evidenced in these actions? So say a little bit more about the demographic shifts that you're experiencing in Texas, that we're experiencing across the country as the backdrop to this violence in interesting sorts of ways.
Right, Eddie. So Texas is a microcosm of what is happening in the rest of the country. Even though Texas has had a historically large Latino population concentrated in the southern part of the state, from El Paso down to the Rio Grande Valley, we have seen over the last couple of decades a very rapid increase of the Latino population. And what we have seen is the consequence of that in terms of the ballot box. So there's been a pushback in wanting to resist this demographic growth. So in wanting to pack certain districts and limit the political voice of Latinos. So we see this in Texas, and we also see this nationally. It's not a coincidence that the rise of the Tea Party nationally and most strongly in Texas happened in 2010, right at the time that we saw the boom of Hispanic demographic explosion here in Texas and across the country. As human beings, just psychologically, we don't like change. Change is hard on our brains, and demographic change is no exception. So as voters, as Americans see demographic change, again, there's two forks in the road. We accept it, we celebrate it, or we get tense and we get scared. Human nature is one that kind of shies from difference and diversity. You have to proactively work toward embracing that diversity. It's the harder road, and the easier road is just pushing and otherizing and dehumanizing. And that is a bit of the context that President Trump has picked up on as a result of these demographic changes we have seen over the last couple of decades.
Well, and Mika, those demographic changes that Victoria spoke of were in the gunman's manifesto. Where at first he goes, well, I'm not Democratic or Republican, but he goes on and says that Democrats, because of this Hispanic invasion that Donald Trump was talking about, that Hispanics are going to keep growing in Texas, and that Democrats will win the state of Texas, forever tipping the balance of American politics in the hands of Democrats. So what Victoria just said, actually, the gunman put in his manifesto. That's how connected politically he was.
Can't find a fight.
And Victoria, thank you very much for being on this morning. And Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, we're so sorry. And we're also so blessed to have your voice in Washington and in El Paso. Thank you. We'll be right back.
This is an invasion. When you see these caravans starting out with 20,000 people, that's an invasion. I was badly criticized for using the word invasion. It's an invasion. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that statement. Only in the panhandle. So it's a tough situation.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up.
Listen to this. A new national poll asked Americans if they think President Trump is racist, and half of Americans surveyed say yes. Half. Let's discuss this with Michael Eric Dyson. His new book, What Truth Sounds Like, is now a New York Times bestseller, as well as CNN political commentator Scott Jennings. Gentlemen, we have to just repeat that headline. Half of President of the United States to be racist. Scott, how do you make sense of that?
Well, I think it's a reflection of the extreme political polarization we live in America right now. We are willing, as Americans, to ascribe all of the worst motivations to every policy view, to every action that our political opponents take. In this case, what the people who disapprove of Trump believe is that he's a racist, and everything he does must be rooted in some form of racism. I think during the Obama years, Republicans were also guilty of this. We ascribe some of Obama's motivations to the fact that he was not born in this country, he was a secret Muslim. But I think what we have is such polarization that it drives us to believe the worst in our political opponents.
Okay.
It's a distrustful environment, and it's bad.
But Scott, do you think that any of it has to do with President Trump's own words or actions? Let me put up a few of them that people have called racist. He was accused, as you know, throughout the 70s of discriminating against minorities at his rental properties. In fact, he settled a case about that. That was in 1973, 1978, and 1992. He perpetuated birtherism, as you know, saying that President Obama wasn't born here, called Mexicans entering the country rapists and criminals. He refused to renounce David Duke, as you may recall. He said the Central Park Five were all still guilty, despite DNA evidence to the contrary. He said a judge could not be impartial because he was Mexican, or had Mexican heritage, I should say. He said there were fine people on both sides of these Charlottesville protests that involved white supremacists. He attacks NFL players for kneeling during the anthem. He referred to Haiti and African countries as blank hole countries. So, Scott, do you really think it's just the polarization of the public, or do you think that it's possible that Donald Trump is responsible for some of this feeling?
Well, some of the examples you cited, I mean, just because you disagree with people kneeling doesn't make you a racist.
Okay, but how about the other ones? How about the ones about Charlottesville?
But and look, as you know, I've been on this show with you guys, and I have disagreed at times with the president's language.
Yeah,
I don't agree with
do you think some of them are racist?
No, I don't believe they're racist. I just believe they are not well informed, and I believe they might be the wrong tone.
Yeah,
at the wrong
KKK.
time. I don't believe the
KKK just is looking for a discount on linen. It's not, a racist organization. They just wear sheets when they get up at night and sleepwalk. Here's the problem. This kind of grievous moral equivalency between, hey, they said Obama was something,
This
they
guy's
disagree with him, they were polarized, now they're looking at Trump. Here's a guy who was called Haiti and African nations S-hole countries. Here's a guy who in 1973, as you already indicated, was found in a judgment by the Department of Justice to be a discriminatory person when it came to black people.
Landlord.
Consistently, the Central Park Five called for their death, and even after they were exonerated, still said it was outrageous. The reality is that we're talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. He looks at stars, he looks through telescopes. Is he an astrophysicist? Well, the reality is this. Donald Trump talks like a racist, thinks like a racist, makes statements like a racist, conjures emotions that give succor and support to white supremacists and white nationalists. Yeah, he's a racist, because racism is as racism does. So this attempt to avoid it, and here's the problem. Martin Luther King Jr. said, it's not the white supremacists who are the problem, it's white moderates and conservatives who tend to be complicit with that by trying to dismiss it.
That's right.
Much respect for you, but this is ludicrous. What you're doing is even more egregious, because you're attempting to justify
That's exactly right.
what are essentially naked, raw statements of racism.
That's exactly right.
This is very clear that it has racial animus here, and you're trying to dismiss it as a difference of opinion. That is itself complicitous in the racism.
That's exactly right, brother.
Well, I disagree with everything you've said. I disagree with the motives you've ascribed to me, and I think most Republicans and most conservatives, frankly, are tired of being called by the American left that they're racist or complicit in racism because they have to vote for politicians or believe in certain considerations. So you're welcome to come on here and call that to me, but it's not going to help. It's not going to help what you want to get out of this country. I promise you.
Hold on, Michael. Scott, focus on the question about President Trump. How can you overlook, how can you gloss over some of these points that people have found to be racist?
I don't overlook it. I have come on your show and other shows I've seen it many times, and I have said the president has made a mistake here, and he's going to regret this, and that the president can do better. But I don't believe Donald Trump is a racist.
But why not?
I don't believe it. I think he may have formed.
I just want to ask you specifically. If for somebody who tells black applicants who come to their apartment building that the rent is twice as high as they told white applicants, or for somebody who tells black applicants
know the details of these cases. I really don't. I'm not going to sit here and go through the guys.
And coming up next, our main event, a matchup for the UFC middleweight division title. Or tell the tape for this middleweight championship fight. More than a decade separates these two fighters when it comes to the age, with some differences in height and a similar reach. The veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buff.
Last year and a
Ladies
half.
and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Ready to fight? Ready.
All right, here we go. UFC middleweight championship fight. This should be good. Again, going back to the jab just out of range. Oh, beautiful technique for him there on that side kick. St. Pierre gets hit by that kick to the midsection, Joe.
Nice punch.
So his opponent lands that kick to the body, Joe, and he has shown an increased susceptibility to that strike here tonight. Right hand upstairs.
Oh, he tagged him again.
St. Pierre's knee strike is blocked.
That one hurt.
Went for the inside leg kick.
Good defense there.
Lands the jab. Oh! He's got him hurt here.
Huge knee to the head.
Oh, knee!
This fight is dangerously close to being stopped.
Under 3 minutes now to go in what has been a very fast-paced opening round here.
And got full mount.
Oh!
Half guard. Back to full mount again. Excellent movement here on the ground. In full guard here. Reversal and into full guard. Oh, beautiful, beautiful right hand by the champion. Nice punch to the body. He's cut over his right eyebrow. Nice punch. He got the guillotine. Looks like he's got the guillotine locked in tight. He's free. That guillotine was close. In half guard.
Under a minute now to go.
He hip escapes from the full mount. Now he gets the full mount again.
And busy as he looks to improve position here.
Big punch from the top. He's now working for full guard. Excellent movement on the ground here. Always trying to better his position.
St. Pierre gets caught with that punch.
Oh, he's hurt. That's it. That's it. The fight is over. Gets the TKO late in the round.
Well, Joe, I'm glad to hear you credit the referee's stoppage there because the fighter was not intelligently defending himself and the opponent was really starting to do damage. So you need, as a referee, to sort of weigh what could happen moving forward. It became a dangerous situation. Nice call there by the official.
Understood, but you don't consider them racist.
And here's where the ref called it.
I do not believe the president is a racist.
Okay.
I do not believe that.
Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Here's the point. We have a clear-cut example of...
And there he is, the king of the 185-pounders, the UFC's undisputed middleweight champion, your winner tonight by TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 54 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, and still the undisputed UFC middleweight champion.
You should find them a cause for you discriminated against, women who should be treated in a sexually predatory manner. The point is that here is a president who has said things quite clearly, and you as a president can't even say, yes, I find it repugnant and reprehensible, and he should be repudiated, and yet you come on to try to say, I disagree with you in the past. That's part of the problem we're confronting here in America, and until white folk like you can stand up and find your spine, you will continue to be complicit in the racist animus of this country.
Scott, do you want to have the last word?
Sure, look, I mean, you obviously have strong feelings on this. I appreciate everything you do. I'm a fan of your work in some cases, and I think you've raised many, many good issues over the course of your career. I disagree with you on this because I think what's happening right now is that the American left in this country is willing to ascribe racist motivations to virtually every Republican or conservative in this country, no matter what they do, and that is absolutely wrong. I've been a Republican and a conservative my entire life. I have not agreed with President Trump on everything, but I can tell you this. I've never pulled a lever or supported a politician out of a racist motivation, and for you to come on here and say otherwise is absolutely wrong. I would ask you to look into your heart and wonder, could it possibly be true that every Republican holds racial views? I think you would find that that is not true.
I did not say that. We're talking about we're talking about the President of the United States.
That's not what he said,
Egregious statements, sir. So we're not talking about in general. We're talking about a particular person, and you can't even.
Yeah, well, you're not familiar with my work on this network. I'm not talking about represent anybody else but myself. You're not familiar with what I've said on this network because I have absolutely repudiated his comments.
That's exactly right. We're talking about one person.
Gentlemen, look, I understand. Yelling over each other isn't helpful. Scott, yes, you have repudiated what he said in Charlottesville. We remember. We have your words from that.
What are we talking about now?
We're talking about the body of evidence. However you saw it, and we invited you on to share how you saw it. You did so. Michael R. Dyson, thank you for sharing how you saw it. We appreciate it.
Problem. That's the fucking problem. People don't want to say shit. People don't want to speak up. People don't want. People just want to consort with the norm. Shit is weak.
Coming up next, we get to this UFC middleweight division fight. Our tale of the tape for this middleweight fight. Silva is 17 years his senior. The rest is nearly identical. Here once more, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC.
I do what I want to do when I want to do it. If I don't want to play a game, I don't want to play a game. If I quit, I quit. You know what I mean? People are crazy. Crazy.
Weighing in at 185 pounds, fighting.
Sean Chesbro, what's up, brother? You can't hear me. My mic's on. I'm talking a little low right now. What's up with you, brother? Good morning to you. If you want, we can get into a party, Sean. If you want to get into a party, let me know.
And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Malmo, Sweden, Black Mamba.
America is still reeling from
two
mass shootings just hours apart. As you know, we have special reporting on all of this tonight. We'll first begin.
Mario Yamasaki, third man in the octagon for this one.
A gunman killing 22 people after sharing a racist.
Fighting out of the southpaw stance.
At a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, another gunman
trying to establish that jab once again.
For many, reflecting on all this here tonight,
he lands the head kick.
what is there?
Hard hook. Oh, that's how you throw a combination. Beautiful stuff there. Oh!
He's in big trouble here. Oh, big knee. Hurt him. Oh!
And discuss this tragic.
Oh, look at this. Who saw that coming?
Vicious combo there.
Way to stop and reflect on how unacceptable this reality is for our nation, for each other, for our children.
Switching stances here.
This level of violence occurred.
While the body was wide open, his opponent took advantage. A kick to the body lands flush. He's going to have to make some adjustments here moving forward.
Him again. He's hurt. He's hurt. He is clearly in big trouble here.
This is what we've become.
Body kick, look at that.
Ooh, blocks the shot. Well, it's one thing to have length, it's another thing to use it, and he does it as well as anyone. Nice kick there by Silva, lands flush.
Yeah, man.
some separation here, Joe. How about that chin?
Try some serious power in that kick, but misses.
Nice kick there by Silva. Big, straight left.
Nice right hand to the body. It's not just his speed, it's speed with proper technique, and that's one of the things that makes him so dangerous, and an arsenal of information when it comes to movement.
Oh, nice straight left there.
Great exchanges. Excellent defense here. Really good job blocking all those shots coming at his head. Oh, he got tagged again. He's hurt. This could be it.
Much improved defensively as he blocks the shot.
Oh, big shots. Oh, very nice.
Silva gets touched by that kick to the body.
Oh, he's hurt again. This could be it right here. Big shot. Oh. Big shot.
Oh, wow, that was good.
Hurt him with that right. Now he's stacking him. And he's got the arm. Man, what a round, what a round.
Now commonplace. Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger.
You heard the rhetoric there. Newly shifted. A call to condemn white supremacy.
And here several near.
Here you go, second round, you ready? Are you ready?
Second round here.
That last round was absolutely insane. If this round gets off to anything like the last round, one of these guys is going out. I can't imagine a scenario where if they continue where they left off in the last round, that one of these guys doesn't get knocked out. Very accurate jab by Anderson Silva. It appears that cut is getting worse. Anderson Silva's punishing the bods here.
I would agree with you there, Joe. These body strikes are really going to start to take their toll.
Oh, he's gonna hit the flying armbar. This is getting tighter. He could tap any second.
And there it is.
Nine, homie. Thank you for the submission.
He set up the submission.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's...
I needed that. Ooh, I needed that submission. Got him, coach. How you been, Sean? Let me look and see, man. I was just fighting a fight. I don't know if what you were typing up. Hey, what's going on, man? Trish is on the PlayStation right now, but you can later. I'll get ready with toothpicks, Mike. Hell yeah, get the toothpicks ready, baby. Thank you, brother. How you been, man? How you been? Man, it's hot. I'm gonna turn the fan on right now. Ooh, it's hot. Drinking this coffee helps out. Wow, you're in a cast for a month, huh? So, are your fingers still able to play video games? Fighters that I've made so far. They're hi Trish, what's going on, young lady? I'm gonna type it up for you. What's going on? show you guys, Sean and Trish, if you haven't seen my cartoon characters that I've made, I'd like to show them to you real quick. I've been, the past couple of days, I've been working on cartoon characters. Right, it is. I understand. I got that game too. I got that game, Trish, but and I could never find partners to play with. You know what I mean? All them fighting games like Mortal Kombat, WWE, boxing, UFC, all that, those are confusing to me. It's hard for me to play multiple fighting games. All right, let me show you, Sean. Let me walk over here to my table over here and show you. They're pretty badass, man. Check them out. Right there, you know, I've created 5 fighters so far. I've got John Jones, Stipe Miocic, Robbie Lawler, Colby Covington, and Daniel Cormier. All of these created fighters, all these fighters I made, these cartoon fighters I created, put them all in there. How come I can't move it? Oh, I must have locked it right here. There you go. I just made Daniel Cormier yesterday. You know what I mean? I just made him. He turned out pretty good. You know, a lot of people are big fans of John Jones. They like the John Jones that I made. You know, but those are some of the fighters that I'm making because Daniel Cormier and Stipe are gonna fight. I'm going to have the stream up with just Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. Stipe looks really good if you look at him up close. I had a problem with him, and I swear it was like a day I couldn't get him right. But if you look at his face isn't that bad. I had to really, the way that the picture was, I didn't get, like, I couldn't find a really, really good up-close personal picture. But one thing good about Stipe is look at his ears. You can see the cauliflower on his ears. You know what I mean? If I zoom in, you can see the cauliflower on the right ear. It almost looks like the right ear is poking out. You know, like the right ear is protruding out at the very top. You know, but it's not. You know, I don't know, man. Some people may not recognize stuff like that, Trish and Sean, but I do. You know, but there you go. I'm making, right now I'm making Anthony Pettis right now. I've got Anthony Pettis probably halfway lined out. And then all I got to do, matter of fact, I could show you Anthony Pettis right now if you want to see Anthony Pettis. Let me show you Anthony Pettis. Hold on. Let me open up. I'm just going to show you real quick what Anthony Pettis looks like. Yeah, man, it took me hours to do these, man, on Photoshop. Took me hours. Look at my Anthony Pettis. I'm gonna switch my my Streamlabs over. Hold on. Hopefully we don't lose the stream when I switch it over. Hold on, here we go. It's not coming up. I see it though. Maybe it's got to be right here. Okay, there we go. All right, anyway, I just wanted to show you Anthony Pettis. So you asked me if I draw him. You know, basically, this is what it kind of looks like when you have it. And then when you delete the picture, in the background, you have an outline of what it looks like. Then after that, you've got to add colors, and you've got to add, you know, highlights and stuff like that that accentuate Anthony Pettis. Right now, he probably looks like a monkey. You know what I mean? If you look at him, he probably looks like a monkey right now. But Daniel Cormier looked like a monkey too when I made him. You know, but I've got to fix his hair. He's got a line on his hair that I got to fix, that I'm going to put lighter in there, a little bit lighter. But anyway, that's the Anthony Pettis that I'm making right now. There you go. You know, all the fighters are pretty much kind of the same way. Yeah, but tell me he don't look like a monkey. Anthony Pettis looks straight like a monkey, man. He looks straight like a monkey, man. But once we add colors to him and add eye colors and his body in the background, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna see it's gonna be different. But I'll be doing Diaz next. I want to say I'll be doing Nate Diaz next. So I'm gonna do Anthony Pettis and Nate Diaz. So let me go back live. But there you go, man. That's what I've been working on. I'm gonna switch the stream back over. I hope I don't lose you guys when I switch it over. Here we go.